if you want to do more, but you just cannot seem to find the time, then you might not be doing one very important and simple thing. If you want to know what that is, that's what we're discussing in today's episode. How to do more, but in less time. So stick around. Hi, and welcome back to Up It and the Actionables podcast. For those of you who are new here, welcome. For those of you who are a returning viewer or a listener, thank you for tuning back in. My name is Peyton, and before we get started, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and the bell icon if you want to get notified every time we bring you content like this, which is every week. And now, let's get into today's episode. Well, do you look forward to your weekends? Because that is the time that you can really unwind and do things which you don't get time to do during the weekday. Well, what if I propose to you to start doing one additional thing during your weekends, which would take about roughly 10 to 15 minutes, but could have a huge impact on the things that you do in the entire week? Would you be willing to consider it? So if you're wondering what am I talking about, well, here is the single most important concept of how to plan your entire week, which helps you get more productive, helps you be less stressed, and helps you find the time to do more. So if you want to know how to plan your entire week, we're going to break it down during your weekends, which will only take about 10 to 15 minutes. Now, if you aren't crazy about planning, I feel you, but if you want to pursue your goals, then planning is a skill that you will benefit greatly from having, because one, it will definitely help you plan better, but it will help you to save so much time. And like we all know, time is more important than money. And just like how we are mindful about where we spend our money, we need to be more mindful about how we spend our time. Did you know that one of the most often used excuses is that of not having enough time? Now, one of the most frustrating things in my line of work is when someone tells me that they really want to do something, but they don't have the time. Let's dissect this for a second. So here's an analogy. Let's say you're single and you're dating somebody, but that person tells you that they don't have the time to date you seriously, or to talk about settling down, or to even get to know you better. But they do want to marry you. What will you do? Well, I hope you said a big freaking no, because the fact that they have told you that they don't have the time to invest in getting to know you even better, that is a big red flag. Because as the adage goes, if it is important, the person will make the time. So whether you want to improve your relationships or grow at work or anything else in life, not having the time is simply an excuse. Because if it really matters, if it is really important, you will figure out the time, won't you? Now let's get into how you can plan your entire week during your weekend. So here are 7 steps that can help you plan your week in a very simple manner. Step number 1 is plan to plan. What this means is, if you are serious about planning your entire week, then you have to figure out at least 10 to 15 minutes during your weekend where you're going to sit down and actually plan. Where are you going to spend these 15 minutes, whether on a Saturday or a Sunday, in the morning, afternoon, evening? That is the first step to actually planning your entire week. Step number 2 is decide on your priorities. Now, if you've already taken the time to figure out what are your priorities in life, then that's amazing. Camera high five. But if you haven't done that, worry not, because now you can decide on the priorities for your week. Are you going to be working on a project? Are you going to be working on your health, your relationship, or a hobby? Decide what are your 1, 2, 3 priorities for this week. Step 3 is schedule the time for your priorities. Now that you've decided what are the key things that you will be working on during the week, so if you're going to be waking up at a certain time, working out at a certain time, working on that project, or having a conversation with your partner or a friend, figure out a time when you're going to be doing those activities. Because if it is not scheduled, the chances of it happening are very, very little. Think about it this way. If you have an important meeting with your boss, you're going to take the time to schedule it, right? So now go ahead and schedule the time for your priorities because they are equally important. Step number 4 is don't think but put it in your calendar. This goes back to the third step, which I suggested, that you go ahead and block and schedule a time to do the certain activities. If you haven't done it, this is a reminder step to go ahead and do it and not think about doing that activity at a certain time. What happens is we as human beings sometimes think that maybe thinking about doing something is enough. Well, it isn't. The advantage of doing this is when you get a notification alert, it will help you train your mind that it is time to do a particular activity, just like you would at work. Similarly, when you show up to the time that you have scheduled for your priority, you are conditioning your mind that this is important and this needs to get done, and the chances of you sticking with that activity is so much higher. Number 5 is schedule some unscheduled time. What this means is life happens, and sometimes even though we have the best intentions, we may not be able to stick to some of the things that we said we would do. So in that case, give yourself an edge by scheduling some time during the week that gives you the time to go ahead and do something that you think that you would have missed. Number 6 is to have fun while planning your week. I cannot stress this enough that if you take this activity as simply one additional thing to do to your already long to-do list, it's not going to be fun, and the chances of you sticking to it are also going to be extremely low. But the trick really is that if you look forward to it every single week, to do it because you want to do it, because you want to be more productive with your time, to do more, then over a period of time, you will actually start liking it. Give it a real shot. After all, it's really your time that you're planning, so have fun with it. And step number 7 is the most important step, which a lot of people forget while planning their week, which is that you have to start thinking about some of the actions you're going to take to do the things that you want to do during your week. So this means that if you plan on working on 3 or 4 priorities for yourself, while you are planning and scheduling a time for them, you may also want to take the time to start thinking about the actions that you will have to take. For example, if you intend on working out, let's say 3 to 4 times this week, then you may already want to think about the clothes you're going to wear, what tools are going to be required, where you're going to be working out, and what time. Thinking ahead of the actions that we will likely have to take in order to do the big things does something to our mind. It preps our mind for taking that action. And those were the 7 steps on how to plan your week to get more done. Tell me in the comments below how you like this episode, which step resonated with you, and what do you do to plan your week. I would love to hear your comments. If you like this episode, don't forget to like it, share it with a friend. I will see you next week. If you'd like to get in touch with me, you can hit me up on social. My handle on Instagram is @PaydensLife. For personalized help with your life goals, check out my company on upitaway.com. And don't forget that what you want matters, and it's really up to you to make it happen. Stay healthy and stay strong. I'll see you next week. See ya.